Hello friends, welcome to channel 11. Today I'm going to give my experience about the Nlog. So this is we have used for our exception logging purpose, and it is very useful. So I would love to share my experience. Says it mentioned this is the website. If you want to see more information about Nlog, you can visit this website, and it is mentioned it is open source and it's fully supporting in .NET. So these are the features it is providing. It is easy configurable, so we can configure via configuration files as well as programmatically. So it is templatable, so you can define your own way onto display. So it is templatable using layout renders. It is extensible and structured. So these are the features it is providing, and these are the targets. So targets means if you want to log the your exception or tracing or debugging in different targets like event log, same time want to go for files and databases and console and email, so as well as ASP.NET and core logging. So it will supports this many targets, and so these are the this supporting wise it's going to supporting from 3.5 to 4.8. So now we are moving to .NET Core, so it is still supporting standard framework from 3.5 onwards. So this, so you can visit this website and you can see more information. And I would like to share my knowledge about, and I will give some simple example, working example. So as I mentioned here, so I will first of all go for the targets here. What is the targets we are having? So as mentioned here, targets are destination of log level. So it is a database or console layout. So how do you want to output your exception? Whether you want JSON or CSV plain text. So that is we can mention in layout section. So layout renders how you want to render your output. Example of message or exception or date or something. So these are all types we are having, and that is also configure based, and these are the targets around 48 targets. It is now it is supporting 84 targets, sorry, 84 targets it is supporting right now, beating with file mail, and we have the database and integrations and cloud based and programmatically also debug memory method called security and web service. If you want to log your exception via the web service, it will support by using log receiver service interface, and Windows Forms also it's supporting. So these are let's go for file right now. File target, what it is. So if you this is the file targets detailed information it is providing. So if you want to go for file target, these are the information targets details. So you have to mention the file type and name and layout header. So these are the parameters it has if you want to go for file target. So it has given in detail about each parameter. So mostly I will show you working example after this. I want to show you how. So this is the output you want. So you just wanted to mention your output like log date, uppercase, log level, what is the level of log level. It's uppercase, true, and logger and message, and it has footer encoding. So these are the layout options. So it is also supporting archives. Every day you want to roll out different file, so we have the option archives, and archive every day, daily, or something you can mention here. So it has the complete information, so can go and visit this website. And for the simple logging, so this is the it looks like configurable configurations. And so I will tell you how to install the Nlog. So after this, so first of all, you can see that Nlog structure, configuration structure, it should looks like this, starting with Nlog. And in targets, it has many targets you can mention, but right now I mentioned about file target. If you see the target example name, type, and layout, and file name, how you want to store your file name, so you can give the file name. Keep file open is one of the performance feature, so it should be true always. And rules, see in rules, in rule section, so, how what is the rule, what basis you want to log this exception, those information will mention in the rules section in logger. So, and this is wildcard and minimum level. So I will show you, I will give working example just for just for having idea. I'm showing this one. So rule section, you have to define from which level you want to log this information to file. So those information you need to mention in logger, and we can have many more loggers here under the rule section. So once you done, the file will get generated like this. So this is something about the file target. And let me go for the service wise service target here. So this is the configuration syntax for the service. If you see here, you has to mention endpoint configuration name and endpoint address. These two are important. So if once you mention your endpoint configuration name and address, then it will automatically ping that service. These two are important here. So if you want to pass any parameter to that service, then you have to declare your parameters here. This is the syntax for the service calls. And you can see your you can go through the, you can once you go, please go through here, you will find the what is the parameters and their in descriptions. And this is the syntax for in service you have to mention, you need to inherit the ilog receiver server. And this is the syntax. So once the service hit, it's going to come here. And so this method, this is the method it is going to process and read the parameters and do some other stuffs. So I will show you this example also in live example. This is the service, and so I will go your tutorial. So in this tutorial, it will going to first what you need to is first you need to install nlog using NuGet package in your project, and then you need to configure nlog targets for output. So as I mentioned, for targets for file and log service, so you need to configure that and start writing the your nlog. So these three I will show you right now in working example. So first of all, I will install. So I already implemented. Just first of all, I need to install Nlog into my project. So these are my two projects are trying. This is the console application. This is the, I can say, client. This is service. So first of all, I have to install Nlog as I mentioned. So I have installed Nlog using NuGet package. So this, so if you see here, this is I have installed already. Let me go and show you. NuGet package, manage NuGet package. This is how you need to install NuGet package to your project. First of all, you should have internet and browse. I just need to go on Nlog, type Nlog here. So it is going to search and display to you. So these are two I have installed in my project, latest version 4.6.4. This is the configuration purpose. If you install this one, there is a two files, Nlog and log schema files will get added to in your solution along with the Nlog library. So once you install, you are going to get these two files in your solution. So nlog config, nlog ext is for a schema file. So you are going to get IntelliSense. It's optional. So if you want IntelliSense required to your nlog, then you should install this one also. So if you see my nlog config syntax, so let me close. So here I have the three targets I have right now. It is file, one is event log, one is service. These are my rules. So if any exception, for for all exceptions, irrespective of name, if you have mentioned star means there is no any name defined, all errors is going to use this logger. And minimum level, suppose what is the minimum level for your targets. So let's take for my case, minimum level for error starting with error. So it start with error. So what is the maximum level? If you go for max level, we have from error. What is the from error? It will start, it will go on for from start with error to next remaining levels. Like if you go for error, the remaining level is fatal. Suppose if you go for, if you put the minimum level is trace, and it will from the state onwards remaining. If you call remaining levels like debug info 1, so it will start from trace to fatal, and that is minimum and maximum levels. So for my case, I start with minimum, and maximum level I have not mentioned, so it will log error with the fatal. Suppose here I have mentioned I want to go only log minimum maximum levels. Suppose if I trigger the trace, then this rule will apply. So means I have set the minimum and maximum level both are same. It's only work for the trace. Same with info. So if you see here, I don't mention anything about maximum level, so it will start error and fatal remaining. So if you go that website, will give more detail about this information. And here this is the important write to. So here I have mentioned about my targets. So you can give more than one. So I have mentioned here my target go for file. So if you see here, my file name is F, and along with I am also give one more target is testing. So if you see, my testing is my log service. This is the WC service. So here if you see here, my WC service, this is my service WC service address, and these are the bindings. these are the parameters I am passing to my service. So if you see here, this is my service code. So I have inherited my log service. So this code has been given by them. So I just use it directly. And here, since I am passing parameters from my client, so these are the parameters I am passing. I will show you how to pass these parameters. So these are the parameters I am passing: type, exception, stack trace, and inner exception. So based on type, I am deciding what trigger I need to fire. So this is my service code. See, here I am reading my properties. I'm identifying my type. So if I suppose if properties my properties dictionary having type, then I'm checking what is the value. So what this value is SQL audit, then I am triggering SQL audit log. Suppose if SQL exception, I am logging the exception logger. So this, if we go for logger, this is my logger method, and this is the syntax. And so I'm first of all I'm getting my logger. So in this case, suppose let's go for audit. I'm getting my logger audit. So if I see my service code Nlog, so here I have defined my logger with name audit. So I have mentioned here minimum level, maximum level, and write to also where you want to write. So here I'm service side, I am wanted to write into one file. So if you see here, so I am passing audit. So it will first get that logger, audit logger, and I am passing event properties. So these are the properties I am passing to log event. So once you define like this, once trigger this one, logger will automatically search the log section with the logger with this name, and once it is identified, it will hit this target, audit target, and automatically it is going to write to that accept information to this file. This is my service code. I hope you understand. It's very simple. And so I will go for now in client. So here I am passing these parameters, and I am invoking my service. So based on this parameter, I am decide whether I can go for the SQL different types of targets I am setting in my service. This is my service code from my client. These are my rules I am defining. This is my configuration section. So here, if you see here, throw exception is one of the important. Suppose if you have any exceptions in this configuration, you can mention whether if you want to off or true. If you mention true, all exceptions will be logged into this folder, internal log. So if any exceptions occur as part while triggering service or file not found, suppose file doesn't have your permission to open, so all these exception will go into log here if you enable this one throw exception. So this is one of the important, and this option should be put off in if it is production. That is one of the task you need to remember. And you have one more internal lock level error. Suppose internal lock level, from what level you want to lock your information, or you want to start from the, so if you see here, if you want to start from tracing, or if you want to start, if you start from tracing, it's going to lock all the information from trace onwards. If you trigger the trace or debug info, so all kinds of information will be start from trace. So just I wanted to start from error. So only exceptions, if any exception occurred as part of this, then it's going to log into this folder. So you can mention path here, and it is also like dynamically you can set base directory, all this information. This is the layout, so you can define your file names based on date and all. And if you want to pass any variable, this is one of the way you can pass. And so this is my targets code, so you have to, I have mentioned triggering async true, so it will automatically trigger these targets asynchronously. And rules, so this is the configuration syntax. Let me go to my code here. um if you see here, I have three methods. One is error. So first of all, this line is one most important. So if you want to start logging, then you have to get the logger from the static method, and that is also should be static. Log manager that get logger class, get current class logger. It's going to get the current class logger and assign back to this variable. It should be also static and read only. And if you see here logger, so I will go for error here. If you see here logger, so if you see it has the error. So if you want to log anything related error information, you just need to uh, pass exception to this method. So if you see here, it has 17 overloaded methods. You can pass string and string with exception and parameters if you have any, and so on. So in my case, in my case I am passing the string builder. So before, so I have formatted as I want and passing to this error error level. So once this method execute, it is going to search the nlog section and suitable logger. So once it is identified, it is going to call these targets. That how it will get the find and trigger the targets. So same thing for tracing also. So once this is for debug, once it is hit this one, call this method with this information. It's going to search in nlog section suitable logger, and it will call this right to targets, and so on. Start tracing. So it is very simple. Just we need to call this. You need to place this line on top of your class, and once it is assigned this logger, you can start using those methods. Error, and we have debug, and I have, sorry, this is tracing. And so debug is debug. I have added like info. So like this uh, you can start using the nlogger. It's very simple. Just three 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 steps I did. I just install nlogger, and I just given the I just uh, define my configurations, define my targets and rules under the nlog configuration, and I start using those methods logger.info. So it's pretty simple and more useful. So now I will tell you how to call this. So now I have completed my nlog stuff, so I can start using this. So this is my main method. So in I have different kinds of inner exceptions I have defined for my. So for the demo purpose, rethrow will get called this one. So it is again called under the another divide by g. So so here I am triggering my divide by 0 exception. It will get log here, and once it is throw back, it will come here, and again it will come here. So 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 once it is exception occur, then in exception in my catch block, I am for demo purpose I am calling all four logger methods here: trace as well as debug, trace and audit and error. And so if I for exception and audit, only for exception I am pointing to my service. If you want, you can point it to the for audit also if required. So it is configurable. Suppose if you don't want your service wants to log the exception, you can remove directly from here. It start. So it is pluggable. If you want, you can add any targets. You can. If you don't want, you can remove. And if you want to disable any of the rule for some other purpose, we have the level is off. So once you set this is off, this logger won't work. It can't disable or enable option also by using level off. And it's best practice before calling to any of your logger, first you check whether it is enabled or not by using this flag, this boolean. So it will say, it will first check your logger if whether it is enabled or not. If not enabled, you can return other than instead of calling this method. Okay, first this is one check. So let me go and run. First of all, use my I will run my service. So I'll put the debug point for first time. So I'll put the debug point. So it's going on. So my service is ready. So this is my client, and let me close this one. So I'm starting this. So if you see here, I am looping. So I am looping for the first time. I can give any number of here. Suppose if I want to go for 10 times, I can give 10. So it will 10 times get loop. So for demo purpose, I am looping for the first time. So let me go and start. Once I start, then first of all, since it is error is first, then this method will get called. So this is my output folder. At present is empty. And I will tell you one more thing. In my logger, a given file name, for suppose if it exception, it will start with the exception file name. If it is service side, then my file name is going to be log file. Just keep remember that. So since as I mentioned, this first method get logged. So at present is true. There is no, I didn't set anywhere my logger is off. So by default is true. Then I am formatting my exception. So so I am reading base exception, inner mode exception, and I am passing my parameters. This is how we need to pass the parameters. So that logger instance having properties dictionary. In the properties you can mention key value. So I am passing my type as a key, so my service can understand this. If I pass SQL exception, my service can understand this, and it will trigger corresponding logger. So this is the final step. So once I hit this one, the logger will the nlog will automatically trigger the corresponding rule and start firing the targets. It's done. So only error part is done. As per the error, it is going to, this is the logger I have set for the error. First of all, it will write exception in file, as well as it will start hitting the, it will also trigger the my service also, this service. So let me go and see my file output. Let me come out from that. Let me complete this one. Let me complete remaining also. So it is done. It should log now. So it is completed. Yeah, if you see here, both files has been written. This is my exceptional, and this is exceptional log. This is my service log. Let me go and see the output. If you observe here, this is how I am passing after formatting my exception to this nlog. So if you see here, it has been written very nice way. So you can see here my level. This is error, and this is one more method I have called same error. And if you see these three also should write to that exception log. If you see info, trace, and debug, this is my exception log file. Let me go and see how service has been written. So this is my service log. So this is I'm since I'm passing same information, it should be same here also. So I'm hitting the service from the info as well as error. That's why we are saying this is the info. Info doesn't have header, that's why it is coming like this. And so I'm triggering the service two ways, two ways, that is error time and info time. I'm not triggering debug and trace times. That's why it has been written error as well as info. Let me go on for sake of understanding. Let me go and delete this one. Suppose if you want to stop writing to error, just go for level equal to off, and you want to only write the information to info. So let me go and check this one and rerun my again. This time we should not see any information related to error into log file. So it is done. So if you see here, there is no error has been written because I have disabled that one. And this is remaining, I have did not disable, that's why it has been written remaining info and trace and debug. Let me go and see this one also. See, if you see here, there is no exception because I have been disabled that in service level, in service, in from the client, and I am, so it has been configured only and info. That's why it has been written here. Let me go on and unplug the from the info also. So if you want to unplug, just do that. And let me go and remove this one, unplug from exception also. This time I should not see any logs related to service, so I have been deleted that one for demo purpose. This is my output. Let me go and remove this one and rerun it. This time I should not see any. So it is done now. Let me go and stop. It is done now. There is no service because I have unplugged that. So guys, I'm done. I hope you understand how to use Nlog and what is Nlog and how to use for logging purpose in .NET. Please share your ideas, and if you want the source code for this, please ping me. I will share to you. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day.